Everyone knows not to mess with Judge Marilyn Milian. Always tough and fair, she's one of the longest-serving judges on the People's Court, presiding for more than 20 years. She's now sharing her TV court bench with her husband, Judge John Schlesinger, on her show. And today they are opening up about a judgment day their family never saw coming and how it changed their lives forever.
My husband went out for a run and I went for a walk. And when I came back, he was already back, which was odd. And he said to me, "I don't feel good. You know, I started to run and I just don't feel well. I think that I still have a little bit of that chest cold." I'm like, okay. And we proceeded to do 1,000 things together. I had him clean out the garage with me, all kinds of stuff for the next 2 days. And when I was leaving for New York, he told me, "There's something wrong." And I tried to get him to go to the hospital that night. He goes, "I'll just see a heart doctor this week, but my chest is bothering me." By the next day, I was calling John's secretary. I called the chief judge. Everybody finally made him get off of the bench within an hour. And I picked up my messages. After one 15-minute case, it was his goodbye message just in case.
That's scary. Judge Marilyn Milian and her husband, Judge John Schlesinger, join us now via Zoom. Marilyn, I just can't imagine what it's like to hear a goodbye message from your beloved husband from the hospital. I mean, and this health scare. Go ahead.
I didn't want to go to New York. He kept telling me, "You need to go. You can fly right back if something's wrong." I regret leaving so much. You did it. You thought everything was going to be fine. You didn't take this seriously.
No, I think you're right. I have no doubt.
Why though? Why? When did it occur to you that this might have been a mistake?
I think, when you go through your whole life and all the times when you got sick or you got hurt, you always got better. And then this was not a heart attack that, as I understood them, I guess what you would call more of a silent heart attack. And I thought I was going to get better. And when I didn't get better within a day or two, that's when it started to dawn on me, maybe you should go to the doctor.
I mean, he didn't know he'd had a heart attack. He just thought he had a little chest pain and it was part of a chest cold that was lingering. He just thought, because I have to tell you, when did they say you had the heart attack?
They thought I had it when I was out running 48 to 72 hours prior. And it was in that window. And I'm sure that's exactly when it happened, because now I remember, after the fact, I remembered exactly what the clues should have been that should have told me, maybe you should go to the hospital right now.
Tell him about what you did after your
in the intro. Please.
Not knowing he had a heart attack.
Had me cleaning out the storage room, move the piano.
We cleaned out the storage room in a house we used to have in the Keys because we were selling it, and we cleaned and we put away all the Christmas stuff. It was January 17th. Like, why is that Christmas stuff still out there? So all of the boxes. He's putting boxes over his head, and
up in the attic.
When you think that you're strong, and he is strong, and you think it's all okay, you think you can handle everything. Right. He had a 99% occlusion of the widowmaker.
Oh. First of all, you guys are so cute just watching the banter when two judges live together. I've always been curious what happens, but I especially love.
It's not good.
Some days. Some days.
It's amusing on the surface, Well,
Marilyn, I mean, you're so mad at him because he almost killed himself that you would kill him.
Video made me mad again.
But I think this is a moment that could teach America about a reality, which is that heart attacks sometimes don't have a big banner with them. They can be silent, they can be subtle. So, John, when you actually were told by the doctor you had a heart attack, you need a stent right away, what went through your head?
It's funny, that moment when the doctor came back, initially they drew blood from my arm in the ER, and he came back and I thought I was going to have a consultation with a cardiologist. And he had this really serious look on his face and he said, "Sir, you've already had a heart attack based on these elevated enzymes that we found in the blood test. You're going right now to our cath lab to see if it's something they can fix with a stent placement. And close by the cath lab is an OR where they'll take you to an operating room and they will repair it another way if that's what has to be done." So that was kind of the moment when it all crashed into my head. That maybe you should have more of a different attitude about your health rather than thinking that the only thing that can hurt you is kryptonite.
Right. Well, roughly half of heart attacks are silent. That's one of the stunning things out there and can be undetected for weeks, even months. And the problem is that it causes scarring in the heart. And I'm just so everyone's on the same page, the subtle signs of a heart attack could be the chest pain you mentioned, right? It doesn't have to be obvious, but fatigue is clear, indigestion, discomfort in your jaw, upper arms, and feeling like you strained the muscle in your back, your chest. Sometimes people feel like they have like a flu, and it does affect young men more than normal, like you. But it happens to women just as readily because women get a little bit older. So I assume since you're bantering back and forth and defending yourself against your wife's onslaughts that you're feeling better. So what does it teach both of you about how to monitor your health as a couple?
Well, for one thing, it teaches me that he is the son I never had, and that I need to be responsible for his health, because there are just some people who don't want to go to the doctor, and John is one of them. So he had made a decision, even though his cholesterol, go ahead, confess.
What, my cholesterol was a little elevated.
A little elevated. How much was it?
I took some statins for a little while, and then I just stopped taking them. And then I got back into it, of course, after the heart attack.
How high was your cholesterol? Tell them.
It was
Tell
over
them,
200. It was like 250.
It was 280.
So why did you stop taking them?
Honestly, I stopped taking them just because I had read my own. I'd done a little bit of research on my own, and I was like, well, maybe it's not 100% clear that that over the long term it's going to make a difference. And frankly, I was wrong. I think that the majority of the science is on the side of the statins, and now I'm a believer.
In fairness, and this is where I always get concerned talking to the audience as a whole. You talk, our show, as you know, is in lots of countries. I've talked to people trying to help everyone at the same time, but you can't because people are different. So some people with high cholesterol have widowmaker lesions that are about to close off and kill them. Others don't. And that's why pushing back on your doctors is smart to do, but listening when you're done pushing back is even wiser. Just like as judges, we can debate you a little bit, but you guys got to decide. And we trust you to do that because you spend your whole life doing it. All right, listen, we got lots to talk about because up next, Judge Marilyn and Judge John weigh in on the biggest fights couples are having right now. They could help you. Stick around. We are back with Judges Marilyn Milian and John Schlesinger. Now, this season, People's Court has moved into their living room, and for the first time, the couple is sharing the bench on air. So as judges, you both know your way around an argument. So how have you learned to keep the peace at home as you work together?
Well, Marilyn. I kid around sometimes that I don't know why we continue to argue, but then I say, well, I think one day I'm just going to win one. It's going to happen. But she is, we find compromise all the time.
We do.
We find middle ground.
Do. I mean, we argue and discuss a great deal, and I encourage that in my children also. People always ask, what's it like to be your poor children, the children of two judges? Please, they are fruit of our loins.
Right.
They're, so everybody has an opinion and everybody argues about their opinion. And then in the end, you just try to find some common ground that, satisfies everybody, some kind of compromise.
See, what I always say at my home is, because I've been married to Lisa 35 years, the prosecution never rests.
Yeah, the problem with that is we've got two prosecutors.
Yeah.
So,
I was a state prosecutor and he was a federal prosecutor.
Right. I know the feeling. My wife's not even a prosecutor. All right, couples across the country have now become default co-workers since we've all been working from home. One survey found that 34% of couples who are co-working reported an increase, not a decrease, an increase in conflict and a decrease in intimacy. Lots of couples around the country need Judge Milian and Judge Schlesinger to weigh in on their debates. So today, Dr. Oz's Couples Health Court is in session. Randy and Howie have been married for 20 years, and for the past year, they have grown closer than ever, at least when it comes to physical space. Randy, you say it all comes down to quality time. What is your complaint? Please state your case. I guess it's a good sign that you're in the same Zoom shot.
When the pandemic started, me being in the entertainment industry and Howie being in the mortgage industry, I knew that I was going to slow down. So I figured, okay, let's make the best of it and let's have a little bit more quality time together. And that kind of was shot down fast. Howie had started a new job. And as we all know, when you start a new job, you have to throw yourself into it 120%. And he threw himself into it 150%. So that was kind of left with me like, okay, what am I doing?
Howie, what's your defense?
My defense is the company I was working for closed the division, and in the middle of this, I had to find a new job and take care of my family. And duty every day. So yeah, it's definitely been a little hectic with the new job, but definitely better.
Nevertheless, it created lots of conflict. Judge Milian, what are your questions for our litigants?
Let me ask you, Randy, what exactly is your complaint, darling?
Just more quality time together.
What kind of time do you spend together during the day?
Well, from about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning to sometimes 7:30, I won't see him. He's downstairs in his office, working in the basement, and I'm just up, we have 2 teenage daughters. I definitely keep myself busy running errands. So I don't expect anything. What I want is at the end of the day to have that quality time where we can sit together, not put the TV on, because that's how he unwinds is the TV. And while I respect that, I just don't think it's helping us as a couple.
So how long is enough? Is an hour a day? If you were to, your wish list would be what? An hour a day, 2 hours a day, the entire evening. What's your wish list?
Oh, I need my time too, my downtime. So I wouldn't even say the entire evening, but I would say, yeah, if we had like an hour and a half together of quality time and not watching TV.
I would ask, in the course of a day, do you guys ever exercise together? Do you have lunch together every day? Meryl and I try to make time to exercise together because, frankly, it helps us sleep better at night, and it's good for you overall. I guess.
And that right there is an hour of just power walking.
Or 45 minutes.
Or 45 minutes. You don't have an hour. But don't you have to eat, Howie?
No, he won't. Sometimes he'll come up at like.
I'm pretty much from my bed to the shower to my desk, and maybe I'll come upstairs and grab something quick to eat at like 1 o'clock, bring it back downstairs, and then I'll come upstairs, have dinner, maybe have a couple of other emails to return throughout the night. But what I will do is I'll be on my couch, and like around 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'll walk into the living room where she is and go, "Hey, what's going on?" And she's on her phone. We'll have a quick conversation maybe about the kids and what we did that day or anything new that's going on.
Howie.
Someone's got to pay the bills.
I totally understand what you're saying, Howie. Somebody has to pay the
baby.
bills, and clearly she appreciates it. And
100%.
I mean, you got to do what you've got to do when you've got to do it, and that's how it works. But she's not asking for a lot. She's asking for an hour of quality time a day. And when you get right down to it, that's not a lot.
There's the verdict. God bless you both. Randy, Howie, good luck to you. I think you can work this out.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Judges,
guys.
I appreciate all you're doing. And don't forget to watch Judge Milian and Judge Schlesinger on People's Court. Fabulous, even better than usual.